What's up everyone, it's HK Gaming. I just got 2 new items today that will complete my build. So I figured to do a update version of the endgame build. It will do more damage and have a better survivability. So let's go over the skill first. We'll be using the bladed round as our major way to do damage. And also we'll be using the bladed turret like our last build to do a little damage buff. And this time we're using the Scrapple instead of the Cold Snap. This will give you another damage buff. And the weapon that I'm using will have the AoE damage handle already, so I don't have to use that Cold Snap legendary clothing anymore. And for the class point, we will be going for the Postillion like the previous build, and then just follow the top path and go for the exposing tossing here. And this is the one that I do not have it on my previous build. This will give you an auto damage buff using the Scrapple, giving you extra 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds for you and your allies. So if you're playing multiplayer, this will help a lot. And this can also help you to burst down the elite more quickly. And the 10% extra damage, Assault Master, and then 2 sides of the power, and then just go the down path from here. And then this is the other damage buff that I was talking about, giving you 40% more weapon damage for 10 seconds every time you use the turret. So if you want the full potential of this build, you will have to remember to use these 2 skills. And for the build, I'm using this new submachine gun that I just got today, like a few hours ago. The mod that I'm using, of course, is the Killing Spree, giving you extra 25% more damage every time you kill enemies, stack up to 3 times. The second mod that I'm using here is the Bone Shrapnel. This is also the reason why I stopped using the Cold Snap, because killing enemies will now detonate the enemy's body, and it will do 200,000 damage, and this will make up for the Cold Snap AoE damage. And the reason why I'm using a submachine gun I've already gone through in my previous video, so I won't be going through again and have the whole showcase. If you wanna know, go check out my previous build video. If you don't, you just need to know that you can use either submachine gun or the assault rifle, but I prefer using the submachine gun. And the second mod on our weapon can replace the Ice Storm AoE damage, so we can have a better slot for the upper armor. And for the headgear, I'm using the Equalizer and the Bloodlust. It will do 25% more damage against enemies with Toxic, and killing enemies will now increase your firepower, stack up to 3 times. And for the attribute, you want bonus firepower, close and long range damage in every single gear. If you see gears like this, remember to save it for later to see if there's any use. I do not have a perfect one for the upper armor yet, but what you want is the Radical Therapy. It will do 15% more damage against enemy with Toxic, so there's 40% in total with the headgear mod. And the second mod that we're using is the Emergency Stance. It will give you the golden effects whenever your health drops below 30%. It does not require any warm up, so it is a little bit better than the mitigation from death that I was using from my previous build. If you're playing multiplayer, you might not be able to get it that quickly with 3 kills to stack up the mitigation, so I would suggest to use the emergency stance, but just keep in mind it has a 10 seconds cooldown. And for the lower armor piece, I'm using the spare mag, 1 additional magazine before triggering down the bladed rounds cooldown. And the second mod that I'm using is the Captain Hunter. Increase your damage against elite by 25%. Same reason, you might not be able to stack up the Killing Spree and the Bloodlust or the Sharp Eye. So you will still do a fair amount of damage with the extra 25%. But more importantly is that I do not find any other mod that is better than this. And we are not using Cold Snap, so that extra 25% more damage against freeze enemies will not work anymore. And for the gloves, I'm using the Sharp Eye, Killing enemies while aiming will give you extra firepower for 20 seconds, stack up to 3 times. And the second mod I'm using is the Dum Dum Bullets, 10% extra assault weapon damage. And for the foot gear, I'm using the Critical Analyze. Increase your critical damage by 15% with bladed rounds, and killing enemies with Toxic will give you 40% ammo in your magazine with Toxic Lid. When I was testing this build, I had a 7 minutes run of the Colosseums, but I was not able to run it ever again. The average time that I'm running here is 7:15, around 7:15, 7:20. I still think it is pretty quick, but anyways, I will be leaving the gameplay footage in here for you to see. Let me know what you think about this build in the comment section below. And I'm working on the other class build as well, so make sure you come back and check them out. And that will be it for today's video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be making more gaming videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Colosseum. Now they think I'm falling for this painfully obvious trap. Did that feral maniac sacrifice for sport? I think that's the last of the monsters, but that maniac.